live on Instagram, live on Facebook, right here at 9:33. Esteban, we're getting better, man. I'm going to tell you, We're getting better, you guys. My name is Rick Noda. I'm the founder of T3 Body, where we tighten, tone, and transition in what's now, again, beautiful Encinitas, California. Today's topic, you guys, is leading back on time management. You know, I discussed a little bit on Monday how I set the table for on Sunday. You know, I allow myself to and I use the language is important to me, you guys. I use romance. I use, smooth. I use, calming, because your preparation for the week is one that, again, using the analogy of a hornet's nest, there is work there. There's some intensity there, but you can do it if you plan properly and allow it to flow, or like I use the word, proactively. Now, we talked about your appointment book and writing it down. If you guys want to Google like a bunch of studies, because the way that I work as a coach is that I will first execute. And then after I execute it and it becomes a habit, then I'll look for the science and who is smarter than me to say that this is what they did. So a lot of the things that I talked about writing things down and putting them down on paper, goes through the 7 stages of learning. I remember when my daughter was doing her spelling words and she was in grade school, and they would ask them to, in order to learn their spelling words better, what they would do is they would do 7 ways they had to do the actual words. So my daughter would write some of them in crayon, for example. Then she would, then another example is she would write a story using the spelling words. And then the third thing we would do is kind of create a crossword puzzle, or like a word find or something that we would put the words in. When I went to nursing school, we would do the same, where if you were preparing for a test, I would create a test. I'd make up a test, and then I would give it to all the other students that were there. Ways to really kind of create habits. And they say that, learning them 7 times or writing it down, 7 different ways is a way to start to put that into, your deep memory. The only what I would say, the only thing about that is guess what? You got to have a writing material. B, for many, many years, people will tell me, oh yeah, I put that on a Post-it note. That's like literally just these random thoughts, or like those apps I talk about that are here up in the air, because that's just chaos. It's not organized chaos, because Post-it notes, where do you start? Do you start with the one in the corner? Do you start the one, whatever that system is? That's where I came up with the quadrant system. That's where you take that composition book, and it's a 99-cent investment, you guys, because that 99-cent investment allows for you to write it down and start those 7 layers. The 7 layers of writing it down, reading it, writing a story, and doing that. The 4 quadrants work because you can do it with anything. My wellness coordinator Armando is here in our studio audience. Yay! There we go. Hey, studio audience. All right. Hey, it's building in your area. No, that was the talk track. That was the laugh track there. All right. Esteban, the producers, laugh now. No, just kidding. So when me and Armando go through and we start to write these things down and holding ourselves a little bit more personally accountable, what it does is it starts to gain momentum. And as it gains momentum, again, remember, a very small part of fitness, all right, is this, all right? There's only a certain amount of gains that you're going to get from fitness that way, all right? The gains that you're going to get is you're going to improve circulation, your body's going to lubricate itself better, and you're just going to move better. Byproduct of good training is you'll lose some weight and all that. But if your life is spinning out of control, then how effective is that going to be? And the answer is only partially. Now, we talk about goal setting. Here, we talk about SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic targets. Now, when I break that down by tasks. For some reason, behind me it says T3 Talks, and I'm a coach, but that coach is, and that in my actual business model, Tighten, Tone, Transition, that transition part of it is what we're trying to accomplish with these preparing your daily tasks. So it doesn't mean I want you to get SMART goals for fitness, because those are simple. If you're going to run a 5K, here's the start, here's the finish, right? And then all you have to do is do what? Use time. That's it. And I don't want to say that it's simple and begrudge or minimalize what it is in preparing of any event. But you guys, it's been the same for, since I can remember. Start, finish, you time it. It's a good way to regulate or grade your progress. I think that's awesome. But when you prepare for fitness events, guess what? That carrot, got to chase it again. Got to chase it again. And I'm going to tell you, for someone that's ADHD, bipolar, whatever you want to call it, all right, that's exhausting. Okay? At 48 years old, 47 years old, all right, if I ask you one thing, I'm a resource to you. As you get maturer and older, you'll go through the things earlier in life versus later in life. I have an 18-year-old kid. You guys know Alex. We call him Alex the X-Man. All right, he's turning 18 next week. All right. Now the cool thing about that is that he's experiencing something in his life at 18 years old that my wellness coordinator experienced in his early 30s. Now that's how to manage fear. Now, the cool thing is that my wellness coordinator who managed that is now going to support that young buck and give him that self-talk that he needs. That's why he's a wellness coordinator, because he's coordinating your wellness, because Alex X-Man is training SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic target. What is specific? Jumping out of an airplane. Measurable, 10,000 feet. Achievable, we've got the funds. Realistic is hard, because he's scared of heights. The target is land safely. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic targets. So what that SMART goal does, it allows for you to use a decision in a proactive way. So now that I've been on for about, what is that, Esteban? We got 15, what do we got on the time? 5 minutes? 7?
There was some weird issues, so we're probably about
5-6 minutes. Okay, so good. So now my audience has changed. So now the topic of today is, and again, in a good way, is we're building on time management and the decision-making progress. So all of the stuff that we do as humans is, and I reverse science this, and someone can go on Google and take a look at it, is that if quote me, don't quote me if I'm wrong. I believe the human brain on a daily basis, the studio audience will find out because they'll see if I'm right or wrong via Google, is I believe you get like 7 to 9, I think the number 7 to 9 decisions on a daily basis. So what does that mean? All right. So what that means to me is that when I woke up this morning, guess what? You guys, today's Thursday, correct? Why is that Thursday? Because you guys know I'm wearing a great shirt. All right? Yeah, I know in podcast land, all right, you're like, man, that guy's boring. On Mondays, he wears a black shirt, and on Tuesdays, he wears a gray 511 shirt, and vice versa. Because what I don't have to do is I don't have to make a decision. How many people do this? We wake up in the morning going, what am I going to wear? All right, now you woke up 5 minutes late. Now you're looking at your closet. Now, and now you'll just throw something on. Now the cool thing about that is most people have their own rhythm, so they're gonna gravitate towards the same clothing regardless. So I have a bunch of clients that come in, and and when they come in, they wear their workout clothes, but it's this, like they'll wear something on Monday, I'll see a different outfit on Wednesday, and I'll see it on Friday. I may see that same outfit. That outfit they wore on Wednesday, maybe I see it next Friday. So there is a certain amount of patterns that we fall into. So what I say is just keep it simple. On that Sunday, just start to knock off what your wardrobe is for the next 3 or 4 days. Now, my wife is a nurse, and I'm also a nurse. The only difference is this is my nursing outfit. My wife wears scrubs. Working at UCSD, she puts her scrubs. Now, here comes story time. I saw my wife and the staff as they were working at UCSD Dermatology doing Mohs surgery. I don't know how she does it, you guys. She sees blood and guts every day. As a primary care nurse, she couldn't do my job. So it's kind of funny that we're both nurses doing the complete bipolar opposites of jobs we would never do. So I asked them, as a nursing staff, because they have a surgical side, and on the other side they have a dermatologist side. How do they determine surgery versus dermatology? And, and this was about 4 years ago. She goes, you know what? We don't. We just kind of we just wear our scrubs and people come in and I go, can everybody do your job? She goes, no. You need special training and things like that. I go, I can't do your job. I said, so how do you distinguish yourself, or what's your uniform? She goes, well, you don't have one. We just wear scrubs. So I said, what if I talk to the other nurse and we decide that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you wear these colors. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you wear these colors. And I went out and and I'm still an ambassador of Lululemon, and I go get you these nice Lulu black pants that aren't technically scrubs, but they're way more comfortable. And you guys will wear black bottoms and different color tops. So that when the other nurse is in a red top and you're in a red top, and the Skittles in dermatology, one's wearing a red, the lady's wearing the Halloween scrubs or whatever, there's a certain amount of uniformity or professionalism. And which is nice is the other side saw what they were doing and they themselves created a uniform. They went to a standardized pants and a standardized top. So what's so beautiful about that is my wife doesn't have to make a wardrobe decision because she knows what they're going to wear Mondays through Fridays. Why is that important? Because when the doctor is performing surgery and asks her, hey, what do you think about this? She didn't waste that decision on, should I wear a yellow top today or a blue one? Now, again, I don't know how tired mentally you guys get out there in the social network land, but if you're continuously burning matches or candles or decisions, to me, that's one of the things that is very difficult for me, is to mentally recover. That mental recovery is super, super difficult because your brain only repairs itself when we're asleep. So if you're like myself that can go to sleep very quickly, but staying asleep is sometimes an issue, your body doesn't get to heal as much as it should. Now, I would really like for you guys to sit back and think, when have you gone and done something physically taxing? How long do you need to repair from that? Or have you taken a class or done something where you mentally feel tough? I can feel foggy mentally for about 2 or 3 days. Physically, we killed it yesterday. Armando burned close to almost 6,000 calories yesterday. And guess what? Went to sleep, killing it again today. Now, we did both say that we were mentally still foggy. So, and that comes from the planning that we were talking about the day prior, because there's a lot of wheels turning around when it comes to T3 body. So it's cool to see on a first-hand experience on exactly that, how much more mentally taxing things are and how little emphasis we put on that effect, and how we feel that the harder we go physically, that, I could just put a whole bunch of days in that. But how is that decision? How does that affect your decision? It just starts to build. Because what ends up happening is, if you're mentally tired and then you're physically tired, don't be hangry on top of that. You know what I'm saying, you guys? I get hangry, and when I get hangry here, it's nuts. This is what it looks like. Hey, Rick, how you doing? What do you need? I'm good. Yeah, cool. There it is. Real quick and fast. Versus, hey, you know what? Hey, why don't we go over here for some coffee, or let's talk a little bit. Because when you have those three things and you've burned matches, and now you're going on what I say extra thoughts, your body reacts again a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, because again, you don't have the necessary tools. So let's take it back a little bit. How do we apply smart time management to your daily job? Okay? Now, I remember, and I'm going to go back to when I was in the mortgage business, all right? And I was an outside salesperson. Now, as an outside salesperson, you have a territory to manage. Let's say you're an inside salesperson and you're a customer service representative on the phone. Let's say you're a service-orientated individual like my friend Lieutenant Moses Avila, who wears that white shirt in Joliet in Illinois. You've got 3 different types of individuals there. You have the outside salesperson who can pretty much make his own schedule. You have the customer service rep who is specifically tied to basically a 9 to 5. And then you have the customer service worker, the civil service worker who has a shift. And during that shift, he's going to work out and basically just see what the world has to come to him. Well, how do we train smart? Well, when you wake up at, again, if you looked at Instagram, you've woken up 1 hour earlier, and right when you set the table, you know that it's Thursday, so your gray shirt is out there, haven't made a decision. You take a shower, you've done your shower, you've come down, you've taken your everyday carry, and you've placed it to the side so you know exactly where everything is, and you just kind of plop it in. You're not deciding what to take and because you all did that. So now, when you look at your appointment book that you did a week ago, you'll look at Thursday and you'll start to see what the day will come. So now if you're an outside salesperson and you notice that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you talk to these individuals, you stopped at their places and stuff and you kind of like shook some trees, how about following up? Because as you train smart, one of the targets is to get new business. And how do you get new business, especially if you're an outside salesperson, is through consistency, you guys. And I use one of my old friends at New Century and Anna Kwan, Jack Katowski. They said, hey, Rick, we love your energy, but you got it back to be a little bit more consistent. And those are guys that were 2 above me when it come to earners, all right? So what I talk to outside salespeople about is let's not make the decision about what you're going to wear and do this clothes and what you're going to eat and all that. It frees your mind to focus on your task, which is getting more business. So be smart about it so that you do have the time and do have the decision in your brain to say, you know what? I'm going to make a follow-up call. Now, that person that sits as a customer service rep or as my friends here both work at Federal Express, those are jobs that you're going to go in there, and I'm not going to say, and I might hear some things and they might hear some hurrahs, all right? You kind of shut your brain off. Mm-hmm. Yep, a little bit. All right? You're coming in there, I'm taking in orders, click, 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 boom, you're on your way. But you could still train smart with that. You may go, your specific duty that day is, you know what, I'm going to make someone smile. Armando, my wellness coordinator, and Stefan do it every day. All right? Measurable is how many people? All right? Once you get one, it's infectious. They start going. Achievable, if you ain't funny, try it. But if you're not, you may not ask someone to smile. You may have someone, you may be effective solving the problem. Your day today is like, your smart target may be, you know what, I'm going to at least go out of my way to help 5 people finish, with their printing project, And realistic target is if it's in your wheelhouse. Esteban, you guys have seen, he has made my podcast better and better. So every time I ask him to train smart is how do we make this better? He's moving lights. We're doing things like that. That's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic targets because I'm feeding his what he's good at. And as I'm feeding that, he's building momentum. And just like our slogan, he's getting a little bit better each time. Now, it's really difficult, at times to train smart as a civil servant because even though you may have planned to go out there and not be Pac-Man that day, that's just out there for Moses, all right? Those you don't know is a reference to the movie Colors with Sean Penn years ago, all right? And if you guys want to go check it out on YouTube, Sean Penn plays a rookie cop that's like in South Central, wants to go, 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 go. And they call him Pac-Man, trying to eat up all those old guys. Well, what's kind of nice is Pac-Man gets a lot of people upset, does anything, and doesn't get the community on his side. So as a civil service, something that might help with your specific, measurable, achievable, realistic target is something that I took from Lieutenant Moses Avila. Sometimes you just want to go into that community and create relationships. So and what's nice about Lieutenant Avila is he knows what shirt he's going to wear. He knows what sidearm he's going to carry. He puts on his duty belt, and when he prepares for work, he hasn't made a decision yet. Because what's nice is, just like the military, they do some of the thinking for you. So what's nice about this is that sometimes in the civilian community that we kind of love the freedom, but we're, kind of like, is it really helping or is it a side effect? So a lot of what I usually recommend, again, with time management, is let's find out the things that we can eliminate so that we don't burn those morning decisions. So as a resource, I tell you that story. Now, I talked first one about your clothes. Now, to me, I'm a little bit more functional of what I wear, but if you really look at your life, if you're doing your daily planner, and if you go look at your clothes, and I'll use an example from the Rock 105.3. All right, the guys, shout out to those guys, Eddie, Star, Emily, and what is his name? Thor. All right, Eddie, the guy that hosts that, wears shorts all the time. If you see him in pants, it is crazy. All right, it's like there's something going on. It's out of the ordinary. So that he owns it. Shorts with cargo pants. Now, if he's going to go somewhere nice, he puts on his nice shorts. So I don't know. I haven't been in Eddie's closet, but whatever. But I guarantee, because what he says on the radio, he'll wear a Star Wars or like a what I call a gamer shirt because he loves video games and shorts. Do you think he's really making a huge decision on what he's doing on a daily basis? He's got his style. He's got what it's going. So by the time he gets to work, he could be ultra creative. So that's your clothes. Now, with your hygiene gear and all that stuff, I'm going to make this a talk for later. But by the time and we had this talk a few years ago, by the time you're 40 years old, male or female, you guys have your products dialed in. Know what soap you use. Know what your smell is, all right? These guys know I smell like SHIT most of the time. No, I smell like sweat. No, but I have my products. I use Dr. Bonner's soap, which is that Castile soap. When I get done, I use a certain oil that I use, like baby oil to keep my skin nice. Whatever it is, when I come out of the shower, people understand what my human smell is. And what's nice about the smell is, again, I'm not making decisions when I go grocery shopping. Number 3, because I'm locking in my stuff, I can always get the best price. I can always get the stuff that I want on availability because I know what I want. So what I did is I eliminated going to do shopping and things like that because we have those little devices that are now annoying us, which are Alexa, and Google. So you can establish all of that stuff to get drop shipped to your house, or the big juggernaut, Amazon. So as you're using that, you're not making a decision about cleaning supplies and what you're doing and stuff like that. Oh, here's a box, zip, putting it away. That is using your brain once, using your planner once, and starting to execute how to train smart. Cleaning your house. Again, my wellness coordinator and Esteban think it's funny because on Thursdays, we try to clean our house with a little bit of a deep clean. You're maintaining throughout the day. I use the restaurant mentality, turning tables. It takes just as much time, you guys, to wash that plate than it is to put in there. The only factor is how lazy you are at that second. All right? And I usually say if the lazy meter is pretty high, all right, then just kind of get yourself to count and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Really? 10 seconds of your life? Like 10 seconds to wash that plate? Not, again, it allows you to say, you know what? Just knock it out, get it done so that I don't have to make the decision later to go back to do my chores. But the nice thing about that is you're making those decisions and limiting those decisions. It allows for you to be creative. Now, I'm not going to tell you that by getting your groceries delivered, doing a brain dump at night, putting your clothes out the night before. You're going to have this, all of a sudden, this of life. But remember, I cannot live, and most of us cannot live in chaos for long. But we can live in organized chaos, taking the example from those those hornet bees and bees for pretty much for as long as we are resting and eating and fueling ourselves. How do we do it? We start a little bit at a time, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic targets. We get rid of all of the distractions by approaching everything. Here it goes, Esteban, with the 7 P's. Proper, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And for the closed caption, I'm going to do that again. Proper, prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So I want to thank all of you guys for joining me for this Thursday's podcast. And again, talking about and building off of time management. This is important because there's no coach out there who is a personal trainer and coach who can manage your chaos and get you the results they're looking for. Because it makes it increasingly hard on you and hard on them. So what my podcast here today is to really offer you as a resource, and that resource is how to start to manage that. Now, as a non-for-profit, I am taking on new clients remotely and locally. So if you like what I'm seeing, you guys, remember our goal is to now get 3,000? How many? 2,000 followers, okay? Now, I've never asked this of anyone because I believe the way that Marines work is that we don't cry wolf a whole lot, right? You've never seen on any of my social networks, let me help me get followers, because that's not. I'm asking as a leader for my friends out there in social network, if you enjoy what I'm doing, send it out to your friends and have them send it out to their friends and their friends and their friends so that I can get 2,000 followers. And the only reason I'm looking for 2,000 followers is so that I can fund this program through my non-for-profit. And I can continuously offer you this good content where our motivation inspires you to be better. I want to thank Panic and Coffee House, again, for providing me with the coffee that keeps me going. I also look forward to interviewing Dempsey this week, the owner of Panic and Coffee House, where he took a historical building and has kept it in its entirety. Because for those who do not know, Panic and Coffee Houses is one of the few coffee houses that doesn't have Wi-Fi. What? People actually have to talk and drink coffee? So that's exactly why I enjoy Panic and Coffee House, because it's the only place, or one of the few places around, that publicizes or literally promotes. Come here and talk to people. So just like T3 Talks says, and as we tighten, tone, and transition your life, I'd like to tell my producer and my studio audience, give them a hand. Yay! Whoa. As they get bigger, look forward to us being on March 9th at 511 for as we are they're having and their ambassador sale. So we'll be right there in the parking lot doing BMI scans. And I gotta tell you, Mr. Esteban, I forgot my little coffee cup right here today. Oh yeah.
I got mine.
Oh, the goods. Oh, the goods. Can I tell you, I have a producer for a reason, because I get to drink coffee as he pushes the buttons. Our motivation inspires you to be better. I'll see you guys soon.